Let's discuss how to enable horizontal scroll for a vertical gallery. So we have all come across this scenario where we end up showcasing a lot of content in a vertical gallery, right? Whenever we get a requirement from clients in Canvas applications mostly, we'll end up adding a vertical gallery to display the data source records for them, right? So when a client is needed much more items to be displayed from the data source or an action items to be added, for example a button or icons or text inputs, right, for them to enter some input and then for going ahead for submitting the content in the backend data source, right? So in that scenario we need much more controls or data to be displayed in our vertical galleries. So as we all are aware, vertical gallery is nothing but we will add the content and the vertical scroll will be enabled by default for them, right? So here, for adding much more content we need some horizontal space also available irrespective of whatever the canvas width we have out there. So for this, we have a trick to enable horizontal scroll in a vertical gallery. So let's see how we can accommodate this. So as you can see my screen, this is a Power app which I have created, one of the canvas, okay, that has been available out here. So let me add an vertical gallery to this. Okay, so I'll select some random data source, that is surgical record, and let me go with a basic layer, that is title. Okay, I'm having only title. I'm going to remove some arrow mark that is already available, and I'll reduce this title size. I'll reduce it to 250. Okay, and I'm gonna increase my gallery width to to cover all my canvas app width, right? I've covered it all. So now let me add some data to it. This is the title. Let me increase the side and adjust it accordingly. Okay, I'm going to add one more label similar to this. Okay, keep on adding until it covers the entire screen. Okay, so now the thing which we need to do for enabling horizontal scroll is we need to adjust all this widths according to the label sizes. For example, my first label is nothing but title 6, right? So now I'm going to select, I'm gonna copy the label name, and then I'm gonna click on the second label and I'll go to the X property of this. So I'm gonna say title 6 dot X plus title 6 dot width. That means the formula is like the property of this, that take that into consideration plus add on to the width of this title, right? So that will come up as a very next, it will just get accumulated to the next of that specific label, right, just beside it. Okay, now similarly I'm going to do the same for the others. I'm going to copy the title 6 underscore 1. I'm going to add it to the X property of this. I'm gonna say dot x plus dot width, right? I'm going to do the same for other as well. It's property. Okay, and coming to the last one. Okay, so we have covered the almost entire width of this. Okay, now the trick to enable the horizontal scroll. As you can see, for example, let me show the vertical scroll first. So if you see, I'm gonna play this. By default in the vertical galleries, we will have this vertical scroll available, like as we all are aware. Now for doing the horizontal scroll, first thing is you just add a horizontal container to this. I'm going to add a horizontal container. I'm going to cover this to the available width I have. Okay, gonna make this cover like this. Okay, now I'm going to add a normal container. I'm going to search for container, and this is my normal container. I'm going to include that inside the horizontal container. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut my gallery from outside, and I'm gonna add it into this normal container which I just added. Okay, I'm going to paste this inside. So if you can see, under the horizontal gallery I have the normal container, and inside the normal container I have my main gallery, right? So now if you see, here is my gallery, and now I'm going to add much more controls to this. I'm going to add one more label. For example, I'm going to paste it like this. Okay, one more label is added, and I'm going to follow the same thing to here as well, like x and y property which I just did, right? I'm going to copy this label name, go into this label, go to the x property, and I'm going to say dot x plus dot width, right? So my label has come just right next beside this, right? So I'm gonna just adjust my y property to be get aligned with the others. Okay, it got changed. Okay, I did this again, so it's automatically adjusted. Okay, now I'm gonna add one more control, that's button for some action items, right? So I'm going to add a button inside this. Okay, and for this I'm gonna give the same. Now for the button, my X property should be considered the last text, last label which I've added. That is this one, right? I recently added. So the name of this is title 6 underscore 5. I'm gonna copy this. I'll go to the X property of the button, and I'm going to add like this: X plus, again label name plus width. Okay, so my button is sent to over there, and I'll just shift the Y position of the button. Okay, from here. Okay, it's shifted down. I'll make it 10. So now, to enable the horizontal scroll, right? First thing is come to the horizontal container, and in the horizontal container we have a property called horizontal overflow. Just instead of hide, select scroll here. Okay, I've selected the scroll for here. Okay, still we don't have a horizontal scroll, and after that I'll come to the main container. So I'll increase the width of the gallery first. Since my control, last control is coming over here, right? So I'm going to increase the gallery width. That is, I'll make it to 1700. My gallery width is increased automatically, as you can see here, and I'm going to increase my normal container width as well. If you see here, this has minimum height and minimum height, and here is minimum width. So I'm going to make this as 1700. Okay, now I'm just gonna play this. If you can see, there's a horizontal scroll available out here. I can scroll it, and I can see my next label as well, and also the button control, right? And I can scroll it back. Just that my label names are same. I just copy pasted. I can change it to different labels names, right? Patient name, or I can select something else, ID, right? Something like this. We can keep changing this. So based on the scenario, right? Sometimes, as per the requirements, we'll keep on getting the requirement, like instead of the labels, we need to scroll the headers as well. Correct? Not only the entire content present inside the gallery. We might end up needing the horizontal scroll for the headers also. So let's see how we can make our headers also scrollable. Okay, let's add these first. Last one will be the patient class. Okay, I'm going to scroll now more. Okay, everything is changed now. So now I can directly include the headers. Let me include some labels now. So I'm gonna add these headers just outside the gallery. Okay, inside the main normal container, but outside the gallery. So I'll include one label out here. Okay, now I'm gonna drag this and keep it on top of the. So for adding the header, my container height should be increased. Let me increase that. Okay, my label is here. I'm going to make this cover like this. The entire width of this is 250. And I'll say this patient name, right? So for this, I'll make it look like a header first. I'll increase the font, make the font weight the semi bold, and give some background color to this. Okay, okay. And now I'm gonna use the same and copy and paste for all the labels, right? I'm just copying this and pasting it again to place just next to it, and then comes next header. I'm going to add two more because one my button control is at the last and also the next label is also at the last, right? I'll add two more. So I've added all. Okay, I've placed it somewhere here. So now the things which we did for the labels inside, right? We have added the X property as a formula. That is, copy the X position from the previous label and plus the width. Same thing we have to do here as well. So I'm going to go to the first label and copy the label name here, and coming to the next label, I'll do the X property here. So with this, what will happen is, or as soon as you scroll to the right, it will accommodate the X, it will take the X sign, X position and also the width position of the previous label and accommodate the space accordingly. That's what the formula does. So our entire logic for the horizontal scroll is built on this specific formulas which we are going to add right now, which we're adding right now. Okay, copy the same and label to dot x plus label name dot width. Again, I'm going to copy the same label name for the next one. Go to the x property dot x plus dot width. Okay, and the last one now. Okay, so I'll just give my header names accordingly. So it's patient ID, MRN ID. So I'll just change the text of this MRN ID. Similarly, this is end time. This is book time. This is procedure MNC. I'll just say MNC patient class, right? And for the last one, I'll say action because it's my button control out there. Okay. So now I've done all of this. I'll just play this now and I'm going to scroll it horizontally. As you can see, my headers is also moving automatically along with my entire content. Okay. So I hope this video finds you well. And if you like it, please follow me and keep liking and sharing. Thank you.